You probably too, like me, don't have that much money anymore. Stuff costs more, they're more expensive, prices go up, and there's just not as much left anymore at the end of the month than it used to. So today we talk about a couple tips that could help you save some money and have more left over for stuff that are needed or that are actually fun. Hi, my name is Karen from Prepared and Sustainable Living. I cover topics all the way around homesteading, gardening, emergency preparedness, outdoor activities, foraging, home remedies, hunting, fishing, and everything that comes somewhere in between, anywhere in this area. And today we talk about 10 frugal tips that can help you save some money. Some of them might be a little bit more work, but everything you're doing on a homestead or doing yourself is going to be more work than if you buy it, but it's at the end worth it. So let's get started. So yesterday I bought myself a finished 90 seconds rice package with season and all that for about almost $1.50. It was a small package and then plus taxes. So I was really busy and tired yesterday, and I really didn't feel like cooking, but it cost me a lot of money. That one is a 5 pound bag of rice. I get that for a couple bucks, and I get much more out of this than I get out of the other one. If you buy it even bigger in really big bulks, like 10, 20, 30 pounds, you can even save more. And then you can cook more than one meal at once, seasoning it all up. Then you can either put it in the fridge or in the freezer and just use it when you need it. So tip number one, making from scratch is always easier. It's always cheaper. Not easier, cheaper. Most of the time cheaper. Does not count, for example, for my gluten-free graham cracker crust, because the crackers are more expensive than the crust. But normally it's cheaper. Sorry, the light isn't the best in here window. Tip number two is make your own home remedies. So not paying all the time for medicine is definitely cheaper. It's also sometimes better, like that fireside I got from a really good friend of mine, which I use whenever I feel like something's coming up. I feel like getting a cold again, so I take it again. A lot of that stuff you actually can either grow yourself or foraging, and all I take from that is a tablespoon or two, couple times a day. So that sure gonna hold me forever. Same for tinctures and stuff. We're gonna make much more this year. So if you're interested in making your own home remedies, subscribe to this channel because there's much more to come. Tip number three, dry your clothes on a rack. I have a small one in the laundry room here. Normally I would dry the stuff outside, especially because the big towels don't fit on that. But inside we don't have enough room. And well, outside there came a little bit of snow yesterday. Plus it's cold in general right now because it's winter, so that stuff doesn't dry well outside. So I put it on here, and then I do use the dryer for big towels and stuff like that. In the summer I normally put the towels and the shirts and stuff outside and only dry the underwear and socks and stuff inside. But you can save quite a bit of power if you dry your clothes on a rack instead of putting everything in a dryer. And for some clothes it's actually even better. Number four is a tip that is gonna come this year on the channel. That's one of my really soon projects. I did not do it myself yet, but I definitely will. And it is all about making your own cleaning supply. I go through so many bottles of all-purpose cleaner and toilet cleaner and all that stuff every year. And we are only 2 people in the house. So if you're more, you're probably gonna go through much more than I do. there's definitely some money that can be saved. Tip number 5. I actually went and got rid of that stuff already a while ago. I still have a sponge here, but I'm not gonna buy more anymore. And I removed paper towels completely. Washing dishes with a washcloth is doing the perfect enough job. I can throw it in a washer whenever I think it's needed and can reuse it. I did the same with the sponges, but they don't hold a whole lot long. I also don't really use paper tissues anymore. I use my fabric tissues I had from earlier. I used for many years and then started using more paper tissues. The only thing we still have is a couple paper napkins if we have guests and stuff like that. But even as napkins, when we eat like barbecue chicken and you have barbecue all over your hands, we work with washcloths, throw them back in the washer and use them again instead of disposable paper towels that only gonna cost you a lot of money in the long run. Tip number 6, that is actually 2 in 1. One of it is get everything out of it as possible. So my boyfriend ate the last little bit of ribs. Now I still have some meat on it and I have bone on it. And if you are following my channel, you probably know I did make bone meal out of the turkey and actually got 2 boxes of broth out of it too. I can use to make soup for me. I like eating broth and soup in the winter, so I can put some rice or noodles or some vegetables in there and use that. There's still a little bit of meat in that broth too. The bones I did later put into meal. That's actually now in the pantry waiting for the spring so we can then put it in the garden. Used an old yogurt bucket to store it in and labeled it with pinto tape. We do use still buckets for butter and yogurt and still some cottage cheese, even though I do make some of that from scratch now, just not enough yet. We don't have animals for right now, so I do make cottage cheese and hopefully soon some cream cheese out of leftover milk. Before it turns bad, when it needs to be used, I turn it into cheese rather than throwing it away. But we still have buckets and I keep them, I clean them and I reuse them until they break. I use them for foraging, I use them for storage, I even put them in the freezer, works too. And the second part of the tip is that t-shirt. So that's my boyfriend's t-shirt and it got too small for him. So I used it originally as my at-home shirt because I like to have a bit wider clothes when I just do housework or in the summer work in the garden. Clothes that doesn't matter if they get dirty and never get clean again or get destroyed. Well, I wore the t-shirt now since summer 21, getting close to 3 years, and it was already old. He used it a while already too, and not only here, it falls apart everywhere now. So, and it has stains on it, so probably soon, because it really falls apart, I have 2 options. I'd either make, actually 3, I can make cleaning cloths out of it, so you can use for cleaning or for working on a car or stuff like that. I actually, and it works, I used it before, can use it instead of cheesecloth, so I don't have to buy cheesecloth all the time to strain my home remedies and stuff like that. Or, which is a project, as soon as I have enough fabric, I'm gonna try and maybe make a video out of it. I can make a rug out of it. So reuse your clothes for something, use everything you have out, get as much out of it as possible, like I did with the apple. We made apple sauce and then we made apple scrap vinegar, and then what was left over at the end we throw in the cup, for example, or make other things out of it. I try to make as much as I can out of the things I have until I use it as much as possible, and then a lot of that goes on the compost. Tip number 7. I already made a video out on that one. Make your own decor with upcycle things. That one was a tin can and some leftover rope. I have a couple other upcycling projects I'm working on. I'm probably gonna make videos out of it soon. But if you're interested in this one, check out my video for that one. I'll link that one above too. You grab wood or wood you find in the woods or driftwood. Don't buy driftwood. Go to the next river. There's tons of that. You can make so many nice decor projects out of that. You don't need to be that extremely crafty or that good in woodworking to do them. And definitively let me know if you want more projects like that. I can make more. It's so important. Do your own gardening. I have so many cans of tomatoes from last year, canned and ready we can make chili of. I will never have to buy a canned whole tomatoes or diced tomatoes or whatever. I still have some noodle sauce. We do buy some of it. We try to every year go a little bit closer to having our own vegetables, growing our own supply. I make our own beans and corn instead of buying it normally. Sometimes I buy it. We had a fill in the potatoes last year. We would have had our own year supply of potatoes too, but we're working on that, our own herb, things like that. So gardening is really, really important if you want to save money and live healthy. Tip number 9, make meal prepping and cooking batches. Like I said earlier, if I cook rice, I normally make a couple of cups and put them aside and eat out of it for about 3 days. That does not mean I eat 3 days the same thing for lunch. I cook the rice and then when I eat lunch, I seasoning it up or make a sauce for it and put that in it so it varies a little bit. Another thing I do is when I bake different things, like I did for Valentine's Day, made cinnamon rolls and a cheesecake, and the lasagna need to go in the oven too, but the lasagna was a different temperature. If I have things I want to make that go in the oven for the same temperature, I plan it ahead so I can make it at the same time and put it in the oven together. They do not have to have the same length. They are in just the same temperature, and I can take one out and keep other one in and only need to heat the oven up once. Or I do a big batch cooking of something, throw it in the fridge or in the freezer, and only need to warm it up for lunch or dinner and don't need to start the oven or the stove every single day. Tip number 10 are craft. That does not only mean I do have made my own scarf. I'm working on another one right now. I did make my own socks, and I understand that needs time to learn, but that are skills that are incredibly valuable. I now finally want to make my first quilt, and if that works, I might make the second one on a video one day. Or I want to weave my own basket soon. I have some grass I cut in the fall, late fall to the winter. I want to use for the woods out there, like willow and dogwood, that are really good if you want to weave stuff. That are crafts that are helpful, that can be useful in different ways, not only for clothes, also for storage, or for the tip number 7 with decoration, that you can reuse for different things again and can really save you a lot of money on the long run. If you made it that far, let me know which of the tip is your favorite, and or which tips would you give people to stay frugal and save money. And for that state, I have an extra tip for you. Tip number 11, go foraging. I, for example, have 3 of those bowls full of acorn flour. It's a new project for me. I did not use it yet. If it works out the way I want, I probably make a video of it this fall if you want to have it. But we also go mushroom hunting every year. Do you know how much money people pay for morels? And we have them here in the woods. You just have to go and look for it and do the work. Or the dandelion, I make syrup and honey and home remedies out of it and tea out of it. I'll make a whole lot more foraging videos this year too, so let me know if you want to see some more of them. But if you watched so far, thank you for watching the whole video. Thank you for supporting the channel. Let me know in the comments if you watched the extra tip or not. Well, let me know when you watch the extra tip how you like that one. And if you want to see more of that kind of videos, thanks for watching. I hope it was you enjoyed it and you learned something out of it. Let me know in the comments what you want to see next. What tips do you have that could be helpful for all of us? From which of those tips you want to see more videos about? Until the next time, stay prepared and sustainable.